Actually, I have to say, these are really practical. The way they're designed, grip there, the non-slip bottom there, you can see. They carry a ton of water, keep me hydrated. They're very efficient. I could see why they had them on DS9. They might be Klingon in origin because I always see them having not frappuccino, racticino, that's it. That's not a real drink. Oh well. Sorry, we're getting very nerdy. Okay, hi guys, and welcome to the show. Yeah, the watch trollop is back uncontrollably. Shout out to Chad. I think he named his Instagram account in honor of the hashtag watch trollop. But yeah, what can you do? I love these things, right? You got to indulge, and the best way to learn is to experience the watches, of course. So anyway, that is my justification. What are we going to talk about today? Well, I'm going to be giving away the C.Ward GMT watch. If you recall, I reviewed, when was it? Late last year. Stunning watch. I loved it. So C.Ward have very kindly allowed me to give this one away. This is actually the one from the review. Usually when I borrow a watch from the company, I send it back, but I think they want to give it to one of you guys. So yeah, one of you guys. So stick around, we'll do that competition at the end. And I'll do wristwatch check before I completely forget. I've just recently, I think a couple of days ago, got this one back. This is my little Lord Sanford skin diver. The poor man's ranchero. It's got a little bit of Rolex Explorer 1016 in there as well. It's a skin diver, but stunning broad arrow hands. It's an interesting subject. I'm going to talk about this watch again, hopefully soon, because I've also been buying a ton of bargains around the $200 mark. It was performing a little bit erratically, so I sent it in for a service. I'm so chuffed to have it back. I love this. This, to me, is such a perfect design, and this is why I want to discuss it more. A defunct brand that doesn't exist anymore, but I just adore it. It's so slender, little manual wind from the 60s. It's gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. And I'm wearing it on the Wrist Candy Watch Club Melange strap. These are new straps. I got to say, they knocked it out of the park with this design. Their previous Perlons, they had kind of flimsy buckles. The colors were a little bit predictable, but they've got it absolutely spot on. I'll leave a link down below, guys. It's perfect for this. This particular one is has a kind of khaki, very dark, not khaki, sorry, olive drab, kind of military-esque, little hint of black in there. It's just, it's the best Perlon I've ever had, and that's a bold statement. Usually I think Ulit are the best, these German-made ones. Anyway, I'm already rabbiting on far too much. Let's change perspectives because, yeah, I've bought another Navitimer. I adore the Navitimer. I just love the design. It's an acquired taste. Yes, it's not for everybody, but ever since I've bought my first Navitimer 3 years ago now, I can't believe it's been 3 years, I haven't looked back. It's kind of killed off the Speedmaster for me. Don't get me wrong, I adore the Speedmaster. Shares quite a similar history with the space involvement, which I'm going to discuss in just a moment. Right, without further ado, let's change perspectives and get into the unboxing. Before we commence with the big box there, and as you can see in the corner there, it's from Japan, another watch bargain from Japan, but there's no knife check because I'm going to unbox a new knife. Actually, this is an old knife. It's just that I lost my old one, and I missed it so much, despite me having a ridiculous amount of knives. And I might actually do a knife collection update. There we go. Made in the USA. I was really enjoying the Griptilian, but there's something about the Leek by Ken Onion. There we go, there it is. And I've got it with kind of olive drab color. So it has the same setup with the little safety there, the ambidextrous safe speed assisted opening. If I just, oh, sorry, I missed the box there, but let's just do that again. We have the liner lock there, so I'll just open it again for you so you can see the, move this rubbish out of the way. It's got the reversible clip, so we can actually attach it this way around if you prefer. There we go. I got the serrated. It's just it's more useful for me, really. So it's a 3-inch blade, about 4 inches when folded. So it's about there. There we go. So a really compact size, not too offensive. Nice and slim for the pocket. I love this kind of dark olive. It's almost different light. It looks almost grey. It's about 2.4 ounces, which is a comfortable weight. It's just a great design, you know. That's why I've missed it. So the handle is anodized aluminium. The blade is a diamond like carbon coated matte black. Super sharp. It's about 1 inch and then tapers nicely to a point. Very scratch resistant, durable. Anyway, enough chatting about knives. I'll probably, if you guys want to see a knife collection update, I might do one. But anyway, let's ceremoniously baptize the knife with an unboxing. So I'll make the first incision. So it has a guarantee from eBay. That's interesting. I haven't seen that before. I think part of eBay's crackdown on counterfeit watches, which is good because it is a problem. This is from E-Lady in Japan, and you know, why do I keep buying Breitlings and watches, especially Tudors, from Japan? I guess it's just still such a sweet spot in the used watch market, and I didn't find anything remotely as competitively priced in domestically, so that's why I tend to keep going back to Japan. I thought for a second it was empty, but there it is. Anyway, God, that scared me. Yeah, drum roll please. Let's have a look. So no box and papers. Oh my God, look at that. Look at that. Oh, that's interesting. Return void if removed. Right, as you can see, the Cosmonaute, and it's a manual wind, good condition, a few little marks, but I think that's dust. Oh wow, okay, so eBay authenticity. Right, so this is part of eBay's new program. Let's I've never owned the Navitimer with a bracelet, so let's try and pop it open. Let's look at the back as best we can without removing that. Yeah, the brushing on this is much better condition than mine. That was something I didn't appreciate about mine. It was a little bit over polished. You see that brushed finish? It's the contrast to the polishing. And I went for this one. I was looking at vintage cosmonautes, and oh, nice action on the that famous scales there. I wanted a manual wind. This is the very last. Oh, that's a nice action to it. This is one of the very last manual wind cosmonauts. So inside we have the caliber Breitling 12, which itself is based on the La Magna 1873. With this latest version, this is from about 2001. It has the B on the seconds hand, and it has the new Luminova. Yeah, it's got silky manual wind action to it. I love it. Let's actually engage that chronograph. Nice. Let's just stop start. Yeah, I'm just going to let it run. It's a flick thinner than mine because we don't have the rotor, which is nice. Let's actually pop it on the wrist. See if we can do it without voiding the. Oh wow, that fits great. So it's the same diameter. We're looking at 41, but I've never owned it with the bracelet. That is really cool. Love that. Oh my God. You know, I have the standard Navitimer, but I wanted this because the history with Scott Carpenter. This was the first chronograph ever worn in space. Well, not this one, but the very first Cosmonaute. It's just an astonishing history, and I think Breitling doesn't get enough recognition. It doesn't get the respect it deserves, and I'm just such a sucker for the Navitimer. I really wanted one that was different. Look at that close-up shot, really nice. So I went for black dial, just a glossy black dial this time, again to differentiate, because I don't intend to sell my my blue one, but yeah, that is stunning. And look at the condition. This is why I buy from Japan. Competitive prices, this was an absolute bargain, just a little over $3 grand, which is, I think, phenomenal value. A cracking watch, and a cracking knife to boot. I mean, what a tool-tastic duo we have. Yeah, really chuffed with that. So I'm going to give it 24 hours. Should be operating within COSC, because as do all, I think since 1999, all Breitlings do that. Oh, we got the gold, I forgot to mention the gold classic B-winged logo there. Gorgeous. I mean, that is the Kipper's knickers. Anyway, let's take it back to the studio. So I filmed the unboxing a few weeks ago, actually. I've had this piece for a while, and I'm besotted. Forgive the pun, I'm over the moon. I'm orbiting planet Earth like an excited schoolboy. There is some things I got to say took me a while to appreciate. The 24-hour dial, this is not your standard affair. It takes 24 hours for the hour hand to rotate the dial. So reading this is completely different. At first, I've got to say, I was a little bit bewildered. Now I've got used to it. It has a certain charm. I'm glad I went for it because it's different from my other Navitimer, which is standard, you know, 12-hour dial. This was deliberately designed for astronauts in mind. And this was the first chronograph in space. The Speedy kind of gets all the limelight. So just to recap, if you're not familiar with the history, the first watch in space was in 1961 with Yuri Gagarin. It was the Shtamansky, or I think that's how you pronounce it, which was a military navigator's watch, quite simple. I think it was a three-hander. Then in 1962, Scott Carpenter wore a Cosmonaute chronograph. Basically, Breitling designed a Navitimer with this special feature because obviously in space it's difficult to tell. There's, you know, when it's night or day. So the 24-hour feature, and it's a feature actually you'll see in the Fortis, my Fortis Cosmonaute, another amazingly important space-going watch. Something that the Speedy doesn't actually have, but we'll discuss and compare Speedies and all the rest of it. I think I've got to do a top 10 space-going watches because there's so much rich history and facts and things to discuss there. The same year, Hoya had a pocket watch that they customized that was slightly earlier. So that was the first Swiss watch technically in space that had a chronograph feature as well. But this is the first wristwatch. So there's, yeah, it gets complicated. Then there was, of course, the first Speedy, which was in 1962, a little bit later on. That was the Sigma 7, worn by Wally Schirra. That was his own watch. It wasn't officially chosen by NASA and beat off all the competitors like Hamilton, Longines, Rolex, and all the rest of them. That was in 1964, and then famously we had in 1969 the Moonwatch, of course. And somewhere in there in 1965 there was the Strela, which was technically, I think, the first chronograph actually accompanied the spacewalk outside. There was the Bulova Moonwatch, there's the Fortis Cosmonaute of the 90s, there was even a Timex, and I believe in the early Apollo missions, there was even a Rolex GMT worn in space. And let's not forget to mention the first automatic chronograph in space in 1973, the Pogue, worn by William Pogue. So we've definitely got to come back to this subject. But before the Speedy, I think this is highly underrated, and I think it's so different from my current Navitimer. I love the bracelet. I've sized it. It's a bit of a different experience. It makes it a tiny bit thinner. It's just wonderful. Also, there's an absence of date, unlike my other Navitimer, which I think brings more balance to the already busy dial, but there's certainly more symmetry there. Like I've always said, date change on the Navitimer is really, really annoying because there's no quick set. The way of of setting it is quite laborious and rather long-winded. Now, it is a bit of a Marmite watch. The intricacy and complexity of the dial does turn some people off. For me, it absolutely does it. This is a weird amalgamation of a luxury and a tool watch. I think it works. Some people may disagree, but you know, at the end of the day, it's all a matter of taste. It's a twist on an already iconic chronograph, and I love the fact that it screams out watch enthusiasts too. The Navitimer fans, Navitimer, so to speak. I was a little bit scared it would be too similar to my current Navitimer, but I love it. I'm a Navitimer guy. I mean, Kurt Russell, big Navitimer guy. Miles Davis. There's quite a few others. I've discussed it in the history of Navitimer, I think, in my last review. But I'm going to discuss the Cosmonaute definitely because it's such an important watch. And actually, quite fortuitously, as I'm recording this, I think yesterday Breitling announced they're going to bring back the 806 manual wind with a new reissue, basing it on the 1959 design, you know, the bead of rice bezel, that beautiful kind of, I don't know if they're going to do the faux patine or any of that. As of right now, information is just coming in, so that's really exciting. So quite perfect timing. I adore Breitling. I think, I'm not going to say they're my... Okay, I can say this unequivocally. The Navitimer is my favorite chronograph. So to have the Cosmonaute, I think, in my collection is a great match. I do miss the Chronospace that I sold and I reviewed in the summer. Have a look back if you missed that. I've got serious seller's remorse. In terms of condition of the watch, this is where it really is surprising. This is why I keep going back to the Japanese market. It is immaculate, and I did compare it to my current Navitimer, which is a little bit over polished. I'm going to discuss the seller of that later on in a separate video because I've got a bone to pick with them. I discovered something about another watch I bought from them. Anyway, that's a whole different video. Accuracy wise, of course, it's a COSC certified mechanical movement in there. This for $3,000, and it's $3,000 for a reason, because not everyone's going to take to that 24-hour dial, but you got to get used to it. It's a whole new experience. I think it's amazing value for money. I think it's the most highly underrated space-going watch of all time. I really do mean that. It was designed for space, which a lot of the other watches were not. The things I don't like about it, well, I'm not going to say the size, because Navitimers were supposed to, they were always big. They were always this size. Well, they went up and down. Well, they definitely went up in the later years, but they never went smaller than 38 millimeters. You know, even back in the 50s and 60s, they were 41, some of them. So they're supposed to be big. Because I know I bang on about, you know, watches should be smaller and all the rest of it. Anyway, let's do the competition. Let's get that out of the way. Oh, and by the way, guys, please do share your favorite space-going watch. I think I also neglected to mention the G-Shock, which is one of the most worn space-going watches. But yeah, do nominate in the comments below. Maybe you're not interested in seeing a top 10 of space watches, but I think it should be done, certainly. Anyway, so the Christopher Ward, and this is also rather kind of serendipitous of this being featured in today's video. They just released a Pepsi version, and I love what Christopher Ward are doing. I know it's quite divisive with the new branding, all the rest of it, but you know what? I think some of their in-house calibers are really impressive. Some of their designs are refreshing. It's cleanly done, it's tastefully done. Okay, very quick questions. All you have to do, two things. Like this video, first of all. I mean, it's only good manners. And second of all, the question is, and to answer this, please do comment below, and I'll pick somebody out randomly and I'll announce it in a couple of weeks. In the review of this, I stated that it was one of the best GMTs at $1,000. I'm kind of paraphrasing. I said something along those lines. All you have to do is watch that video, make a note of the time stamp when I said it. I said that this is one of the best GMTs under or around $1,000. Put it in the comments below of this video. I will pick somebody out at random, excuse me, and I'll announce it in a couple of weeks. Very, very simple. Two things. Like this video. 1, 2, watch the review of this, and then come back to this video and share the timestamp of this, and I will pick somebody at random and I will send them this watch. Okay, so some luck, and it will come boxed, and I'll chuck in some NATO straps and some extra goodies as well. So that's it. Anyway, guys, yeah, a bit of a meandering. Sorry, I tend to do that. I get carried away with watches. You know, what can you blame me? Right, so I'll leave it there. Thank you very, very much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, found it useful, and all the rest of it. And I will catch you, as always, guys, in the next one. Okay, ciao.
This is a public service reminder for the good gentry. Please follow us on Instagram, join the Facebook UGWC group, and click on the bell to keep notified of new videos. Don't forget to keep it positive, keep it gentry, onwards and upwards. Thank you.